Hi there, Martika. Congratulations on your movie getting into Sundance. What was your reaction when you found out, and how did you find out about it?
Yung reaction ko, I was really confused when I first got the email because I didn't expect anything. So when I read it, I thought it was a rejection letter. I was on I was on the way to the shoot of our executive producer. I'm his camera operator for his film. And that's when I found out. Tapos through the day, dun ko unting na-absorb na okay, maybe it's real. But until now, to be honest, it feels surreal. But I'm really grateful and thankful because this is like a big deal for us, lalo na sa team ko na 8 years kaming nag-work for this film.
Wow, can you believe it? 8 years of your life for one movie. Are you ready to spend another 8 years for your next project?
Super, pero sana hindi na 8 years. I think parang I've learned a lot for me to know better the next time I make a film. I don't know.
What were the lessons you learned while doing this, your first feature film?
I think yung biggest takeaway ko is that like filmmaking is a process that involves like relationships with people and places and like everything around you. Because I used to think that when you're a director, you just like direct everything, but really it's the collaboration of everyone, and it's really like the work of the whole team. It's not just like mine as the writer director.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's one of the takeaways, and also I realized that making this film, the process of making a film allows me to learn more about like life in general and people, and that's the reason why I like making movies. It's not just to entertain or not just to earn. It's something. It's like a teacher to me, I
Yeah.
guess.
And you wear many hats here. You're a cinematographer, director, writer, executive producer of this film. What for you is the most challenging, and what is the most fulfilling for you? The role.
Well,
What role?
yeah, yeah. I'm not the cinematographer, but I work as a cinematographer as my
Uh-huh.
day job. So our cinematographer is Carlos Mauricio. But my favorite role here, I mean, the most difficult is being a writer because I'm a self-confessed bad writer and I'm writing about like a film about a good writer. So that was challenging and that took like 5 years. 5 years.
5 years of writing.
Yes, 5 years of writing and asking help from people and attending your workshops.
Yeah,
Also take
I read that you attended several workshops. What for you was the most workshop that gave you a lot of lessons to be able to produce this movie?
I think it's all of them. They have like equal what's the term in English? Equal ambag to my being a writer. But I think it's Sir Ricky Lee and Bing Lao who have the most like influence on me as a writer because they taught me like certain methods on how to navigate like my voice in writing. So the methods are really important as a scatterbrained person.
So what made you decide to become a filmmaker? What point in your life that you decided, I want to be a filmmaker? I know a lot of Filipino parents want their children to be doctors or lawyers or accountants. I'm sure. Did you get any, you know, hesitations from your parents of becoming a filmmaker?
Super. There was a time when they like discouraged me to pursue filmmaking because it's like uncertain and we're not sure like if as a freelancer how am I going to sustain a future. But luckily were they trusted me enough, and I think my experiences in college like helped support that trust because I made a few short films and those short films went to like student festivals. So they sort of thought, I think, that maybe she can try. But the turning point, like when I decided to be a filmmaker, I think was in high school when we had this class project. We had to make a video for Beowulf, the story. We had to summarize it through a video. So I made like a small clay animation video with my
Oh,
classmates. I think when my teacher saw it, I think she liked it, and that's the moment when I said like, oh, I enjoy this. It's tiring. It takes up a lot of time and brain cells, but I enjoyed every step of it. So I'd like to do this forever. I
That's
was
interesting because my daughter also started with clay animation, and she's also an animator and a filmmaker right now.
I
It's so
love it.
it's so funny that you guys started the same with clay animation.
Yes. Oh,
And
I love it.
so how would you describe your movie? Because IMDb says it's a drama, but I found a lot of comedic moments there, and there's also like singing and dancing and love romance. How would you describe your movie?
It's a bizarre trip. I don't think it's the type of film that fits into one genre because it's the unity of different genres. So yeah, it's a crazy ride.
And I know you also like Kidlat Tahimik and Ishmael Bernal and Mike. And I wonder, when I was watching the movie, I saw a lot of Kidlat Tahimik humor in your style. How would you describe the influences of all these filmmakers?
um the influences of all, I think it's how their personalities. I don't know them in person, but it feels like I know them through their films. I don't just hear them, I don't just see them, I just feel their presence. And that's what I try to do when I make my films. I try to be as close to the material, and I try to reveal as much of myself and the people around me through the material. So maybe it's that.
Mhm. And you also wrote the script, and I found it very ingenious because it's a movie within a movie. So can you describe like the challenges, and where did you get that concept?
The film within a film idea came from the initial concept. My friend and I wanted to create a Filipino action Lola. And when I needed a narrative for the action Lola, I thought, why not an action writer inside an action film? So that's when film within the film happened. But it really evolved into something else when I got lost along the way. So there's also that other world where I'm present. So it's a film within a film within a film that naturally just turned into like that
Would,
complex thing.
would you describe yourself as a frustrated actress too?
Uh, Not really. More of a frustrated writer until today.
You mentioned the action Lola, who is portrayed very convincingly by Sheila Francisco. Can you talk about how you found her, and what are the traits that made her really your perfect character?
Right. We had a long casting process, and Tita Sheila was a recommendation from my producers. They saw her in Huling El Bimbo and they were like, hey, Marty, you have to let Sheila read. And then when she read the script and I met her in real life, she just possessed this persona that was really close to the character I was writing. And for that alone, it's something like special. And one of the factors I use in deciding on like who to cast is usually when they read, if they feel like a real person, like a real person, I just know there's something about them. So that's what happened with Tita Sheila. She read and she just possessed this like realness to her. I think also the tenderness and her off camera persona. So it's a lot of things, but really it's vibes.
She's great. And also,
Yeah.
Rocky Salumbides was a revelation. He's not just a good-looking guy, good body, action star, but he also knows how to dance. Was that a requirement for you? What traits did you like about him that you made him, that you cast him?
Well, what I like about Rocky is that he's really game to do anything. We're both on the same level of like good crazy, so we get along well. And that scene you mentioned, it's what's the term, like improvised or spontaneous. Before the take, I just told Rocky, hey, after this take, just dance. And then he was like, sure. He was nervous, but I mean, he did well. So that's what I like about him. He's ready to do whatever as long as it's like mutual trust between me and him. So
That reminded me of some Bollywood films. Was
oh
that
yeah.
influenced by some Bollywood movies you saw?
Not really, but like Filipino films have action sequences too and musicals, and when you see a person dancing, it's like nahawa ka lang sa dancing.
Yeah. So aside from having limited budget, what are the other challenges of an indie filmmaker?
Other challenges of wow, that's hard. Because usually it's really the budget that gives us all the other challenges. But perhaps it's like sticking to the project and like believing in yourself that you can make the film even without the right resources. So I think there's always a way. There's a lot of ways to compromise, a lot of ways to ask for help. So I think that that's a challenge. A lot of people or like filmmakers, even myself, there are times when we want to just like give up and just say, oh, maybe it's not meant for us. But if you really, really want to make a film and you feel the urgency, you'll find yourself finding ways on how to do it. And that's what happened. That's why it took us 8 years.
You mentioned about giving up. What point in the filming, was there a point in the filming that you said, oh, I want to give it up, it's not going anywhere?
Yes. That's 3 years before we shot the film. So I've been pitching the project with my producers in different labs and companies, private investors, and we just can't find the right funders for the film. And I'm not like that rich to fund the film myself. So that like made me think maybe this is not meant to be made, or maybe in the future. So that was a challenge. But luckily, like things fell into place once we got one grant, and then maybe other people thought, oh, maybe it's not that bad of a project. So more people invested in it.
What do you do when you're not making movies? How do you try to relax?
Oh. I'm always thinking about making films, but what I do when I'm not thinking of films, I usually like play with my pets and play the guitar and bake cookies. It's my pandemic sanity source. Like just homebody stuff.
What pets do you have? I know you always have a picture with your cat.
Yeah, we have a cat and dogs. We have a turtle. We have birds and fish. It's like a
You have a
mini
mini zoo.
in here. Yes.
So probably your next project is a cat project.
Maybe. Good idea.
Now that Sundance is virtual, are there any regrets, or how would you get the most out of this Sundance virtual experience?
Regrets? I don't have any regrets, and I'm surprisingly like happy and okay with the festival shifting to a full online festival. I think it's because getting into Sundance was already beyond a dream. So traveling there is like just a bonus. So I never really like expected anything from this film. So I'm really happy, and I think that everything that's happening is like enough already. But my team and I were supposed to travel. So that's sort of what I would have wanted for us to celebrate there together. But yeah, it's okay here. I enjoy being at home and watching the films. I've watched a few short films yesterday. So
Is the
it's not
film going to be shown in other international film festivals?
so far not yet, but we have a sales agent on board, which is great, and they're the ones who are going to find more homes for our film.
And how was it with the wrap party when you said it's a wrap? How was the celebration or your wrap party?
The wrap party, from what I remember, it felt like not it was not a shoot. There were drinks and loud music and speakers and people cheering. So our shoot was I think in my eyes it was a fun and chill shoot. So on our last day, we just like celebrated the way we would. We were just like playing around and laughing and taking lots of pictures because it ended well, and I think people were happy to be together in this project.
So after this experience, what other projects are you coming up with?
Um, I have like a lot of works in progress. So it really depends on like the right time and finding the right people. I do want to make a next feature film, but that would probably take at least 4 years. Hopefully not 8 years. And I still do projects as a cinematographer for films and advertising.
And what are your hopes for the Sundance Film Festival Awards?
Oh, I have no expectations. If it happens, then it happens, and we're very lucky because we've been lucky so far. And yeah, but we just hope that a lot of people will watch our film because it's hard to find an audience, especially like coming from the Philippines. I'd have only few friends and relatives in the US. I don't know who to invite.
Well, thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, Miss Janet. Thank you.
Thank
Po.
you. Hope to see you one of these days.
Yes, thank you. Salamat po.
Okay, salamat.